Guys, these are penny stocks that I believe have the potential to explode anywhere from 200% to over 1000%. And I'm not talking long term. I'm talking about moves that could happen within the next 1 to 2 weeks. In today's video, we're going to break down stocks that have major catalysts lined up. We're talking about huge share cancellations, upcoming acquisitions, and big PR announcements that could send these stocks flying. And make sure you stick around until the end, because I've got a few bonus stocks that you definitely don't want to miss. Also, before we jump in, make sure you're subscribed and have that notification bell turned on so you don't miss any of these early opportunities. Now let's get right into it. Have you guys been watching the absolute madness in the market lately? We've seen stocks run thousands and thousands of percent in just a matter of days. One recent example skyrocketed over 20,000%, going from around $780 at IPO to highs above $2,500 per share in just 2 weeks. That's nearly a 30,000% move. People are already comparing this kind of action to the GameStop mania back in 2021. And shout out to everyone who caught that move. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of them. But here's the thing. We did catch a big winner recently. One of the stocks we called out was PDNA. We mentioned this play just yesterday morning, and within hours, literally overnight, the stock surged over 100% in pre-market trading. That's an incredible return in less than 24 hours. Inside our trading community, we discussed this stock during live trading, and it was highlighted again as a potential bounce play. About 12 hours later, it delivered exactly what we were expecting. So again, shout out to everyone who was able to take advantage of that move. Now, let's move into the main watch list. The first major stock on my radar right now is NXMR. I believe this stock has a ton of potential in the near future. Yes, it has already made a decent move, but the real catalysts are still ahead. Here's what makes NXMR interesting. First, there is a massive share cancellation coming up, around 270 million shares. That is a huge number. When you reduce the number of outstanding shares like that, it can significantly increase the value per share, assuming demand stays the same or increases. Right now, the float is already relatively low at around 41 million shares. If a large portion of shares gets canceled, that tightens supply even more, and in the stock market, lower supply with increasing demand can lead to explosive price action. In fact, many traders are getting excited about this exact setup. The company has even hinted at canceling nearly 2/3 of its outstanding shares. From a technical standpoint, yes, this could potentially make each remaining share much more valuable. But that's not all. NXMR also has 2 major deals expected to be announced in the near future. On top of that, there's an audit coming soon, which could add transparency and attract more investors. When you combine all these catalysts, share reduction, upcoming deals, and an audit, you get a very powerful setup. And here's another key point. Even just a return to its previous year-to-date high would represent a potential gain of around 500% from current levels. That's why many are still watching this closely, even after its recent run. We actually added NXMR to our watch list recently, and the stock responded well, moving up around 20% in a single day. That's already a strong sign of momentum building. Now let's talk valuation. If you look at the price-to-sales ratio and compare the company's market cap to its revenue, it appears that NXMR could still be undervalued. In fact, it's trading at roughly 1/3 of what would be considered a balanced valuation. And for a small cap or penny stock, even a 1.1 ratio can still leave room for upside. So fundamentally and technically, there's a lot to like here. Now moving on to another interesting situation. There's a company currently trading under the ticker WSFT that is expected to transition into QIND. This is part of a larger strategic move involving a special purpose vehicle structure. The idea here is that this entity is being used to acquire a $100 million company called Quality International, along with other subsidiaries. The long-term goal appears to be positioning these assets for a potential IPO on a major exchange like NASDAQ. If this plays out as expected, it could be a very bullish development. Corporate restructures like this, especially when tied to acquisitions and uplisting plans, can create massive hype and momentum in the short term. Traders tend to pile in early when they anticipate these kinds of events. So definitely keep an eye on WSFT transitioning into QIND, because this could be one of those under-the-radar plays that suddenly catches fire. Now, as always, I want to remind you guys, these are high-risk, high-reward plays. Penny stocks can move fast, but they can also drop just as quickly. So make sure you manage your risk, take profits when you can, and never invest more than you're willing to lose. That being said, the opportunities right now are incredible. The market is giving us volatility, momentum, and catalysts, all the ingredients needed for big moves. And if you stay disciplined and focus on the right setups, you can take advantage of these opportunities just like we did with PDNA. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If you found value in this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And I'll see you in the next one.